On May 31, 2018, Naval Ravikant published more than 30 tweets around the topic, how to get rich without getting lucky. These tweets quickly sparked a massive tweet storm on Twitter, spreading rapidly across the platform and being continuously reposted by users around the world. To this day, they have received over 200,000 likes and retweets and have even been translated into multiple languages. At the core of these ideas is a simple but powerful insight. You cannot get rich by selling your time. Instead, you need assets, or what Naval calls sleeping income that continues to generate money while you sleep. To achieve this, you must use leverage, labor leverage, and capital leverage, and create products with near-zero marginal cost. Ultimately, wealth should be converted into the freedom to live happily and freely. Later, Naval's articles, quotes, and insights published on Twitter and other platforms were compiled in September 2020 by Eric Jorgensen, a well-known American business blogger, into a book called The Almanack of Naval Ravikant, A Guide to Wealth and Happiness. Some people call it the Poor Charlie's Almanack of the Digital Age. Once released, the book quickly reached #1 on Amazon's business bestseller list. To this day, it has accumulated more than 6,000 reviews on Amazon, with an impressive rating of 4.7 stars. After being translated into Chinese and published in 2022, it also received a high score of 8.5 on Dubbin, which fully demonstrates its popularity and influence. Naval Ravikant's life story itself is legendary. He grew up in a poor family in New Delhi, India, later immigrated to the United States to make a living, and eventually became a well-known angel investor in Silicon Valley. He has invested in hundreds of companies, including Twitter and Uber, and founded AngelList, an equity crowdfunding platform. He is a world-class serial entrepreneur. His daily tweets are full of sharp insights, and compared with the overwhelming amount of motivational chicken soup content out there, the Almanack of Naval Ravikant focuses on fundamental life principles. Learn how to make money when you are young, and after decades of accumulation, learn how to be happy, so that you don't end up being a rich but unhappy person. From the title alone, it's easy to see that this book revolves around two core themes. First, how to make money and walk the path to wealth. Second, how to be happy and enter the path of happiness. Today, we'll explore these two parts together and take a closer look at Naval's principles and methods for building wealth and living a happy life. The wealth section, creating and accumulating wealth. Let's start with wealth accumulation. Naval once said, "If I lost all my money and were dropped into any English-speaking country, I believe I could become rich again within 5 to 10 years. That's because I've learned the skill of making money, and that skill can be learned by anyone." Making money, he says, has very little to do with how hard you work. Even if you work 80 hours a week in a restaurant, you are unlikely to become rich. To build wealth, you must know what to do, who to do it with, and when to do it. Compared with blind hard work, understanding and thinking are far more important. If you don't yet know what you should be doing, your first priority is to figure that out. Don't rush into action without clarity. The very first statement about making money in the book is, making money is not something you do just because you want to, it's a skill that must be learned. Yet in real life, schools rarely teach courses on how to build wealth. For most ordinary people, the simplest path to making money is getting a job. The ideal path might look like this. Work a 9-to-5 job or even a 996 schedule, see your bank balance increase every payday, live a stable and ordinary life, get promoted step by step, survive the so-called age 35 crisis, work in one field for 30 years, and retire. If you're doing well, maybe you also develop a few side hustles to earn some extra income. This model can provide a sense of financial security, but it is still far from true financial freedom. According to Naval, the first step toward financial freedom is understanding how ordinary people create wealth. We often confuse money with wealth, but they are fundamentally different. Money is what we earn by trading our time for wages. It helps cover daily expenses and short-term needs. But you will never get rich by renting out your time. Wealth, on the other hand, is long-term asset accumulation. In Naval's words, it's something that continues to generate money even after you fall asleep, sleeping income. Imagine owning a rental property that brings in stable monthly rent. That property is your wealth. It doesn't require your constant attention, yet it generates cash flow. Or think about affiliate links under your videos. Even long after a video is published, viewers can still make purchases and earn you commissions. For ordinary people, 8 hours to survive, 8 hours to grow is an ideal state. Beyond physical assets, knowledge, skills, and even relationships are also forms of wealth. After understanding how wealth is created, the key question remains: without relying on luck, how can one actually become wealthy? Naval's answer can be summed up in just 6 words: productize yourself. These 6 words contain 2 key ideas: yourself and productization. Yourself means identifying your unique strengths, expertise, and sense of responsibility. To make money, you must provide something society needs but lacks in supply. Productization means using leverage. What kinds of leverage? Labor, capital, media code, and so on. We'll expand on this shortly. In simple terms, productizing yourself means finding your strengths, cultivating responsibility, and using leverage to maximize impact. This process takes time, and most of that time should not be spent on execution, but on thinking. What unique value can I provide? Everyone is unique. Naval advises us not to imitate others completely, but to discover our own uniqueness, our skills, knowledge, experience, interests, and talents. Ideally, what you do should feel relatively easy and natural to you. That's your real strength. Naval suggests thinking back to your childhood. What were the things you could do effortlessly? You can also ask your parents or close friends. One line from the book that I really like is, "No one can compete with you at being you." Here's a simple example. When I was in college, there was a project where students had to stop pedestrians on the street and ask them to fill out surveys. I noticed that for some students, just opening their mouth to stop someone took all their courage. After a few rejections, they felt completely discouraged. But for others, it was effortless. They spoke confidently, weren't afraid of rejection, and quickly completed the task. For these students, communication and sales were natural strengths. Once you find what you're naturally good at, you can keep moving in that direction. After identifying your uniqueness, the next step is learning how to amplify it through leverage. Naval mentions 3 types of leverage in the book: labor leverage, capital leverage, and products with zero marginal cost. Labor leverage essentially means entrepreneurship, hiring people, building teams, and working with capable individuals to amplify output. As a founder, you benefit from the value created by the team. Capital leverage means using money to scale decision-making, using other people's money to create value. The third type, products with zero marginal cost, is the most accessible. As scale increases, value grows without a proportional increase in cost. This includes media, films, and code. Naval uses Bill Gates as an example. By writing code, Gates built Microsoft, and his wealth grew exponentially as the company scaled and went public. In today's age of self-media, this leverage is more powerful than ever. Creating content, live streaming, or making short videos often requires nothing more than a smartphone. No permission, no gatekeepers. Once you find the right direction and gain traction, these efforts can generate sleeping income. Productizing yourself is very similar to building a personal brand today. Yourself is your content niche, something you're familiar with but others find novel. For example, some rural lifestyle creators simply document farming and daily life, yet attract millions of followers. What feels ordinary to them becomes deeply appealing to urban viewers seeking simplicity and joy. The productization lies in using platforms like short video apps to distribute that content and attract advertising and collaboration opportunities. Naval also raises 3 major life questions for young people: where to live, who to spend time with, and what career to pursue. These decisions shape your entire life, yet many people make them without deep thought, just going with the flow. Some move to big cities because friends do. Some return home because their parents want them to. Some stay in their college city out of familiarity. In reality, these choices should be made after careful consideration of values, abilities, opportunities, lifestyle, and family, not simply because everyone else is doing it. In the first section titled Wealth, Naval also analyzes luck. He divides luck into 4 types. The first is pure random luck, like winning the lottery. The second is luck created through action, when someone quits after 100 attempts, but another succeeds on the 101st. The third is recognizing luck, having the insight to spot opportunities because of deep experience and understanding. The fourth and rarest is becoming so good that luck finds you. When you're the best in a field, opportunities come to you naturally. After hearing this, you might ask, is this still luck? The truth is, except for pure randomness, most luck is built through long-term growth and accumulation. Wealth cannot rely on luck alone. The happiness section, happiness is a skill. Compared with wealth, happiness feels harder to grasp. If you had to rank wealth, health, and happiness, many people, especially as they age, place wealth first, then health, then happiness. But Naval believes the correct order is happiness, health, and wealth. Some people say, if I have money, I'll be happy. Naval argues that while money does increase happiness to some extent, it plays a much smaller role than we think. Happiness is largely a choice, and it can be cultivated through practice. The first step toward happiness is eliminating regret, especially regret about the past. Dwelling on, if only, thoughts traps us in unhappiness. Constantly blaming today's dissatisfaction on an unchangeable past makes happiness impossible. Naval talks about returning to a neutral state, being fully present like a child. Nature itself has no concept of happiness or unhappiness. We impose labels. How we interpret events is a choice, echoing the idea of balance found in traditional Eastern philosophy. Happiness, Naval argues, is more about peace than pleasure. No one can be happy all the time, but calmness is sustainable. When anxiety arises, don't fight it. Ask yourself whether staying anxious actually helps. Naval also says, desire is a contract you make with yourself to be unhappy until you get what you want. We often believe some external achievement will make us permanently happy, but satisfaction is always temporary. Changing the external world cannot bring lasting happiness. To be happy, we must manage expectations. As Charlie Munger said, the key to a happy life is low expectations. Happiness equals what you have, what you want. Another enemy of happiness is envy. Life is not a multiplayer competition, it's a single-player game. If you wouldn't trade lives entirely with someone you envy, then that envy is meaningless. Finally, happiness depends on habits and the people we spend time with. We unconsciously mirror those around us. Being around negative people drains joy, being around optimistic people amplifies it. Naval recommends simple habits: meditation, exercise, smiling, reducing phone use, avoiding comparison, and consciously choosing happiness. Over time, these habits naturally raise your baseline happiness. In the end, happiness is a choice. Whether in gaining or letting go, acceptance leads to peace. Both wealth and happiness require intentional effort. Beyond what we discussed today, the book contains many more insights. If you're interested, I highly recommend reading the original. I hope these ideas help you find your own path to wealth and happiness.